Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 5 of Hot Takes. My name is TJ, and I'm joined by my guest, my permanent guest, and, one of my best friends. I'll say that, Sottle. I feel like you need, a couple of nice things said to you since you lose so often. How you doing, Sottle?
I'm doing great. I was doing, pretty average up until that point, but with that glowing intro, I'm now on top of the world. I'm ready to crush this, TJ. Let's go.
Down to business in Grandmasters as round robin phase is now halfway complete. But we're going to go through 3 hot takes today. I'll award points based on who I feel won. And yeah, should be fun. Let's get underway with hot take number 1. Most Grandmasters would be better off rushing their turns than roping them. Oh. All right.
Absolutely yes, TJ. There's a few players in GM, Bunny Hopper comes to mind, who have mastered the art of the life coach, but far more often than that we see players like PNC, for example, who just get way too far in their own heads and then fail to just even execute the basics when the rope starts burning. Of course, the perfect world is like somewhere in the middle where you actually have some consideration and then execute a play that you've considered quite heavily, but most players do not have the ability to time manage properly. We're seeing the evidence of that, so therefore trusting your initial, finely honed instincts as a Hearthstone player has got to be better than just missing attacks and floating mana at the end of the turn.
Well, I do agree that some players get into this mindset of overthinking. I also think that it would just be the same, whether or not they rushed the turn or whether or not they took their time and roped. I think that a lot of times when players are roping, it's because they don't have that initial instinct of, what the right play is. So I think that if they rush their turns, you would see the same amount of mistakes that you're seeing if they rope their turns. They would just be different mistakes. So I don't think they would be better off, but I also don't think they'd be worse off. I think it would just overall be the same.
So what you're saying is that some people are just bad and nothing's going to fix that. That's basically what I got from your argument there.
Bingo.
Okay, got it.
Oh, that was a tough one. I'm honestly I'm on the fence about it myself after hearing my own argument, which I didn't know until I said it, and hearing your argument. So you know what, Sottle? I'm going to give you the point for that one.
What? Wait a minute. I was not emotionally prepared for this. This is not how this show goes. Okay, I'll take it. I'll take the point. I'm not going to talk myself out of a point. I'll just take it.
Let's move on to hot take number 2. With a balance patch and GM lives on the line, it's time to take bigger lineup risks.
So, no. I think this is nonsense. Because what does risk even mean in this context? It feels like that's just meaningless advice. When you're building a lineup for a tournament, you're not saying I'm going to bring a safe lineup or a risky lineup. You're not going to say I'm just going to bet it all on black in this tournament. That's not how it works. You're bringing the lineup that you think has the highest win rate. Like, safe or risky doesn't really have a definition in this context. The strat for this week is the same as the strat for any week, which is just to test as much as possible, cover as much ground as possible, get as much data under your belt as possible, and then just bring the lineup that you think is the best.
Well, while I do agree in theory, I don't think it works out so much in practice. We haven't seen too many risky lineups in Grandmasters thus far, APEC excluded, because they're all risky lineups. And so what's happening with the players that are at the bottom of the standings is that they're bringing similar decks to everybody else, but they're getting slightly outplayed on those decks. So I think that taking a risk here is bringing something a little different and hoping to get an edge. And I don't think it's a matter of trying to perfect the best lineups, because that's what they've been trying to do and it's not working. So I think that they need to do something different. And just for the sake of this take, that different thing is a bigger lineup risk. So I think that they do need to, because right now, whatever they're doing is not working. And you can't double down on practice because time is running out. There's only 2 weeks left. So I think that they should be taking bigger lineup risks.
TJ, will you ever finish on time? Just one time. Come on. Again,
No.
you don't...
Hey, you took up 35 seconds, my man.
And you took up like a minute and a half. That's not balanced. You still didn't address the issue anyway. Like, risk is nonsense. Even if you are going to do something different to try and gain an edge, as you say, that's not taking a risk. That's just doing something that you believe is better than the same thing as everyone else. It's not a risk. You're just gaining percentage.
You know what, Sottle? That's a really good point. And because of that point, I will award you another point You're up 2-0.
What is happening? TJ, why are you in such a good mood today? What is this generosity coming out from you?
It's not a good mood. You're just making good arguments, Sottle, and it's tough to not award you points when you're saying smart things.
I do that every week, TJ. This is nothing different.
Hot take number 3. Poorly played games are more fun to cast than well-played games.
Oh.
All right. What's your side?
TJ, this is absolutely not the case. Hearthstone Grandmasters is supposed to be the absolute pinnacle of competition. We should be able to watch games of players playing at the absolute peak of their performance and make that exciting. That's our job. We don't want to see a person winning a game because they're throwing less than their opponent. We want to see someone get outplayed and good plays being rewarded. Look at Bloodyface versus Gallon from this week just gone past, for example. That was incredibly fun to watch.
Sottle, that's a load of crap, man. It doesn't matter what it's supposed to be. Yes, that's what Grandmasters is supposed to be. But sometimes it doesn't work out that way. And watching people flub their turns and make huge mistakes and, even slight mistakes, that makes my job more fun because I get to pick it apart and I get to feel, a little bit of happiness inside that other players make the same mistakes that I do all the time. So I don't think it's a matter of what it's supposed to be. I think it's a matter of what you feel deep down inside. And for me, I feel like watching those poorly played matches is just a whole lot of fun. Well-played games are fun too. I did not say that. That wasn't the hot take. Poorly played games are more fun to watch and to cast.
You know what, TJ? Since you've been so cool and had so much integrity this week for the first time ever, I will concede that point to you. As a wise man once said, Hearthstone is a ton of fun when it happens to other people. So you know what? Hand on heart, I agree with you. You can have this one.
Wow. Well, that's so very kind of you. So it looks like the final score for Week 5 of Hot Takes is 2-1 Sottle. So I guess, with a heavy heart, I must say that Sottle, Wait, what's that? Oh, I just got word from our anonymous panel of judges that I've actually been awarded 2 bonus points for my generosity in the first 2 hot takes. So that actually means that the score is 3-2. And I win again. Wow. That's kind of crazy. Sometimes being nice pays off.
Sorry, do I not get a bonus point for my generosity in the third hot take? Like, how does this work? I don't really understand the scoring system. This hasn't been made clear. Can we get an admin?
Sorry, Sottle, but the final score of Week 5 of Hot Takes is 3-2, and that means that I win again. But that's going to do it from me and Sottle. Thanks so much for tuning in to Hot Takes, and we'll see you next week for more Grandmasters debates.
Poppycock and Boulder Dash.